Okay, here we go. Pathophys. This is true for burns and DIC. The pathophys is the same. Thank you, God. You will need a regular sheet of paper. Okay, doesn't matter if it's a burn or sepsis. And by the way, when we do DIC right now, I'm going to use the example of sepsis, but let me say for the purpose of DIC, that with DIC, you could have it because of maternity emergencies. You guys just got out of 2300. Maternity emergencies, so bleeding emergencies, placenta abruption, placenta previa, blah, blah, blah. You can have it because of trauma. 9/11 is a good example. Every damn body came into DIC. You can have it because of liver disease, because earlier you learned that the liver controls clotting. But this example I'm giving you, because it's consistent with burns, is sepsis. Number one cause of DIC, sepsis. So let's start at the top. Whether it's an infection or a burn, it causes endothelial injury. No matter which one it is, endothelial injury. So we have a patient that is either infected or they just got burned, and they have, we'll use a blood vessel as an example, because it's going to play a role. They have in the blood vessel red blood cells. What was the most abundant intracellular electrolyte? Potassium. What was the most abundant extracellular electrolyte? Sodium. This is going to play a role, that's why we're going there. Sodium, 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 sodium. What is in the blood vessel put there by the liver at the metabolism of protein? Albumin. What was the purpose of the albumin?
Keep the water inside.
Keep the water inside and infection protection. Okay, good. Now, so what I'm saying to all of you is that whether it's an infection or a burn, the endothelium or endothelium will begin to get damaged or injured. I'm going to demonstrate this like this. It doesn't matter if it's an infection, doesn't matter if it's a burn. When you do this, you're going to cause an inflammatory response. When you cause an inflammatory response, this blood vessel will vasodilate. We have injured tissue. We have an inflammatory response, either because you were burned or this is an infection. We have massive vasodilation, and this is why. To allow for white blood cells to show up and either fight off this infection or fight from all the debris that got in your body from the burn infection. Vasodilation, to allow more blood to get in, white blood cells to get in to help us. When we vasodilate and we allow more blood, what color is blood? Red. Your patient is flush. What temperature is blood? Your patient is warm. What does vasodilation do to the blood pressure? Your patient's blood pressure drops. What does the pulse do for compensation? The pulse increases. Your patient, you would agree, no matter if it's an infection or a burn, probably needs oxygen, so they're breathing fast. Can we all agree the temperature is increased? There's your vital signs. Okay, now let's start the trouble. The trouble that we're going to start is this, and just these three. 1, 2, and 3. Just those three are enough to trigger the stress response. Agreed? So if we kick in a stress response, we're going to put out catecholamines. What did we say those did? What do catecholamines do? It's called epinephrine and adrenaline. Vasoconstriction on the periphery. This is called peripheral vascular resistance. So again, I'm going to make sure you wrote down catecholamines are epinephrine and adrenaline causing peripheral vascular resistance. Said a different way, that would be vasoconstriction on just the periphery of our body, the non-vital organs. So look at this. Your hands and your arms, your feet and your legs, your digestion, your kidneys are all getting shut down. Why? Because of DIC and burns, we need more blood to our brain, more blood to our heart, especially with DIC. Burn patients, depends on how bad they were burned. Now, are we okay so far? Everybody got to be on the same book. We okay? Okay, so if I shut down my GI, I'm going to get a paralytic ileus. If I shut down my kidneys, I'm going to get acute kidney injury or renal failure. If I shut down my arms and my legs, I may end up with an amputation. It just depends. Now, stay with me. Next on the lineup, or both, capillary. These are all the things that are happening in no certain order except for the first couple. Capillary permeability. If it's a burn, it's going to happen sooner than it's happening now. If it's DIC, it may happen a little bit later. It doesn't matter. It's capillary permeability. Let me show you what I mean. Remember I had endothelial injury, everybody? Okay, that caused some capillary permeability, which means if I took a coffee filter and pretended like the vessel wall was the coffee filter would let some stuff out, water, and it would let some stuff in, coffee grounds. So look at this. Sodium and water go together, right? They're coming out. That's why I told you the salt was low on admission. The sodium is low. It's coming out. It's not in the vessel. Okay? Albumin is coming out. That's ugly. Now we have, with these three, something called third spacing. The fluid is in the interstitial tissue. Because, watch this, because water, salt, and albumin came out, guess who came out of their cell? Potassium. And that's why K is high. Potassium is high, sodium is low. Potassium came into the intravascular fluid, the extracellular fluid, okay? Now, you don't have no water. Would you agree the blood is thick? That's why your H and H is high. With both of these patients, the H and H is high until you start bleeding. And then if you start bleeding with DIC, it's just the opposite. But with a burn patient, put hemoconcentration. With the DIC patient, because we're going to be bleeding, put hemorrhage. So you'll have a different issue. Your H and H are low. This H and H are high. Everybody agree? Okay. Okay. Stay with your girl. And let's break off into the burn only. Because everything else was the same. Everything else was the same except the H and H for both of these patients, burn and DIC. The burn patient is going to have massive edema, third spacing, hemoconcentration, and an increased osmolarity. This edema peaks at 6 hours. It peaks at 6 hours. And it continues for about 3 days. Because of the stress response, the patient is in a state of hypermetabolism. Because of this stressed out state, the patient's in a state of hypermetabolism. For the first 24 hours, we said this already, I'm just confirming. Here's your labs. Just for burn. Remember I said I broke off on burns on to shake it off a little bit. Broke off on burns. Blood pressure low, all other vital signs high, and these are your labs. Decreased bicarb. That's the only one I think I left off. Decreased bicarb. You have 4 up and 4 down. 4 labs up, 4 labs down. It's going to be very much just like this on DIC, but not those same labs. Not those same labs. This is all during the emergent phase. That is important for you to remember. This is not acute phase. This is emergent phase. And this is going to last up to 48 hours. Every single thing I did was emergent phase. I did not do any acute phase. When the acute phase starts, you'll know it because it starts with diuresing. Diuresing is you're peeing up liters of urine. Why? Because you gave me 6,000 cc's of fluid every day. I got to get that off of me or I'm going to go into pulmonary edema and CHF. So let me write that again. Let me say that again so you can write it. The beginning of the acute phase starts with diuresing. Acute phase starts with diuresing. Why are they diuresing? Because you gave them so much fluid. What did I say when you pee? You get rid of what? So potassium is now low. Potassium is low during the acute phase. That's a big ass deal. Potassium is low during the acute phase. Sodium and water go together, so that's low too. Both of these are low now, both of them. You are monitoring for pulmonary edema and CHF. Those are the 2 big complications if all that damn water you gave them don't come off. They are hypermetabolic, so they take 6,000 calories of food. And they are always very tacky because of the hypermetabolism. They take 6,000 calories of food, 4,000 to 6,000 calories. Let me put that in perspective. Even if you're a glutton, you only eat about 2,000 to 3,000. This patient needs 4,000 to 6,000. That's eating 6 times a day with snacks in between that. And they don't want to eat either, so you gotta give them supplements like Boost and Ensure and all this other